All right, I got to share this with you. This just came to my attention that Trump is now permanently banning anyone from the Associated Press from Air Force One and from the Oval Office because they refused to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. They continue to refer to it as the Gulf of America, a Gulf of Mexico, and so Trump is punishing them for doing so. I guess the First Amendment, freedom of press, freedom of expression, freedom of speech, none of that, I guess. Anyway, putting that aside, here's what's really amazing about it, and that is that I've explained to you that Trump didn't even change the name of the Gulf of Mexico if you actually read his executive order, which I did. I did a video about this. And I showed you the exact language of his executive order where he ostensibly changed the name of it to the Gulf of America. And if you read the language of that executive order, he does not change the name of the Gulf of Mexico. He only renames a small portion of the Gulf of Mexico. That portion of the Gulf of Mexico that is immediately adjacent to American territory and extends out into the Gulf a certain distance. And the reason is because we don't own the Gulf of Mexico. It is international waters, right? We don't own it. And so we have no right to rename it. So he only attempts to rename the portion that we have control over, which is just a tiny portion of the Gulf of Mexico. And so when I heard this about the AP, I wanted to revisit that executive order. So I went to the White House website, and guess what? It's not there anymore. They have taken down that executive order. They have a page on the White House website where they list all of Trump's executive orders. And suddenly, all of a sudden, that executive order, poof, it's gone. Let me show you. So here's that website. It's called, the URL is whitehouse.gov/presidential actions. And I went through all these pages. There's several pages. I went through these trying to find the renaming the Gulf of Mexico. Couldn't find it. I tried searching Gulf of America because that was the name of the executive order. And it's not here. This is all that comes up. Gulf of America Day. I don't know if you had heard about this, but apparently Donald Trump proclaimed that February 9th is the first ever Gulf of America Day. Again, another meaningless executive order, but it's a proclamation. Okay, here's your proclamation. You're a douche. Okay, no one's celebrating your stupid Gulf of America Day. Anyway, you look at the rest of the results here. Nothing. There's no executive order on Gulf of America. Nothing. So he has scrubbed that executive order from the White House website. And I wonder why he did that. Because he doesn't want anyone to know, as I have pointed out, that Trump doesn't actually rename the Gulf of Mexico. So here he is, punishing the Associated Press for accurately reporting the name of the Gulf of Mexico. In fact, the Associated Press is the only ones that are getting it right in still referring to it as the Gulf of Mexico. But this is where we are. It doesn't even matter what he does. It only matters what he says. So he issues an executive order that only attempts to rename a tiny portion of the Gulf of Mexico, but he goes and tells people that he renamed the whole Gulf of Mexico, even though he has no authority to do it, because we don't own it. And so everyone is required to go along with whatever the hell he says. So what if he decides to rename the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean? What if he decides he wants to rename Canada? Are we all supposed to just go along with all this crap just because he says it? It's ridiculous. Anyway, that's where we are. You must obey the words of the Mad King. And if you don't, you get punished. even if you accurately report what his executive order did and did not do, if that's not what he wants you to report, then you get punished. Even if you accurately report about what he did, you still get punished because he doesn't want you to report what he actually did. He wants you to report what he says on any given day. And if he changes his mind tomorrow, then he wants you to report that. And if you continue to report what he said yesterday, you'll be punished. Something along those lines. The guy's a freaking nut. Good job, America. Way to go.
So as I was getting ready to upload this video, I wanted to point out one more thing. And that is, we need to be using all this ridiculous crap that Donald Trump does, all this nonsensical garbage, all these ridiculous signing ceremonies for virtually meaningless executive orders. We need to be using this against him, because I get asked a lot, what can we do to stop him? I'm tired of all the talk. What can we do? Well, the truth of the matter is, anything we might do to stop him must first begin with turning public opinion against him. That's the truth. So that's what we all need to be focused on right now. Turning public opinion to the greatest extent possible against him. And the good thing is that this idiot is going to give us a lot of ammunition to use against him, because he is an incompetent fool who doesn't actually give a damn about improving the lives of the American people. Now, he made a whole lot of promises, which again, we can use to our benefit. So every time he does something stupid, like renames the Gulf of Mexico or pretends to, we need to point out he's doing this because he's not doing a damn thing to improve your life. He's not keeping any of his promises. He was supposed to lower the price of your groceries on day one. He's not, because he can't, and he doesn't care to anyway. So instead, what is he doing? He's dangling these shiny objects in front of you, like renaming the Gulf of Mexico, to keep you distracted from what he's not doing. He's not keeping his promises. He's not making your life better. In fact, everything he's doing is going to make your life worse. And we need to be pointing this out to people over and over again. Every time he does something stupid, every time he spends hundreds of millions of dollars to fly him all over the country. You know, today he's going to NASCAR, or this weekend he's going to NASCAR. Last weekend he went to the Super Bowl. He plays golf every other day. He jets down to Mar-a-Lago every couple of days. Okay, that costs us a lot of money. He's doing all that, not doing a damn thing to improve anyone's life. All these executive orders that he's signing left and right like it's a bodily function, not a damn one of them does anything to address grocery prices. We need to point this out over and over and over again. And people will begin to get it. People will begin to wake the hell up to the fact that this man isn't doing anything he promised that he would do. And you know what? All this stuff, none of it's popular anyway. Every poll that I've seen on this subject, on the Gulf of America crap, the American people overwhelmingly oppose that. Even a majority of Republicans oppose renaming the Gulf of Mexico. So let this idiot keep doing this crap, and we use it to our benefit. All right? Step one, turn public opinion against him.